Have you met us yet? We are Migrate World, offering a wide range of services ranging from citizenship and residency by investment to company formation and more. Allow us to explain. If you're seeking residency or a second citizenship and passport, you come to us. Through investment, we help you obtain citizenship or residency, which not only aids you in visa-free travel and security, but also means ample opportunities and an overall better life. We offer citizenship and residency by investment programs in Cyprus, Malta, Bulgaria, Dominica, St. Kitts, Portugal, USA, UK, and Canada, just to name a few. With over 15 years of experience, we are renowned for exceeding expectations. We recognize that every client situation is unique and every solution is tailored as so.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We shall now start the presentation. We were just waiting for a few people to actually join. I think we have a substantial number of viewers now. So first and foremost, thank you everyone for joining us on this Citizenship by Investment webinar hosted by Migrate World. Along with me, I have our country head, Shalini Lamba, who's going to be presenting and co-working with us. And our senior consultant, Kunal, joins us from Mumbai, just to give you a better geographic diversity in case you guys have an audience from other parts of the world. So jumping right in, I would like to take this opportunity to hand over the mic to Shalini, who will actually guide us through a little bit about Migrate World and where we are right now in our journey.
Thank you, Shivaz, and a warm welcome to everyone here. Very nice to see you all here from different parts of, from Pan-India, in fact, different parts of India. And, well, you know, Migrate World, we at Migrate World are really delighted to have you all here with us. And like Shivaz said, I'd just like to start by sharing a little about ourselves. Migrate World was founded in 2007. And while we are headquartered in Dubai, we have a global presence with offices across the world, from Canada to Europe, the Middle East, Africa, Southeast Asia, and beyond. In India, we have offices in Delhi and Mumbai with experienced staff members, senior consultants pan-India, who specialize in making our clients' dreams become a reality. We build strong relationships and act as trusted advisors by assisting each one of our clients every step of the way.
Very well said, Chandni. Just like that, you know, one of the more important things is just when our relationship doesn't finish, once our work with you is done, that's when our relationship starts, actually. That's our motto.
Absolutely, Shivaz. And I love that motto. Our relationship with you starts when our work with you finishes. You know, we at Migrate World offer global programs on permanent residency, and you all would know the, you know, the short form for that, which is PR, as well as citizenship. So just to tell you a little about PR before we get on to our citizenship programs, is that PR is a visa status that allows the bearer of the PR card to legally reside in the host country. In the host country, meaning the country in which he has invested, without being a citizen of that country. PR status can lead to citizenship, provided the resident has lived in the country for a certain number of years and, you know, fulfilled all other requirements for the citizenship process. That is the difference between a PR and a citizenship or a passport holder. Citizenship by investment is a process of obtaining a passport, again by investing in the economy of the host country. Citizenship by investment programs actually legally grant the citizenship status. And, you know, they do it much faster than traditional immigration processes. And what I really like about the citizenship processes is that the investors don't necessarily need to put their lives on hold during this process. In fact, the applications can be approved in as little as 3 to 6 months, resulting in citizenship for life.
Interesting, Shah.
Um,
So just to add to that, basically, PR would just be a visa on your current Indian passport, to put it in so many words, and a citizenship would be a completely new passport altogether for the clients in 3 to 6 months.
Absolutely. That's absolutely right. And actually, Shivaz, going forward, there are many reasons people invest in a second citizenship, and rather than taking a PR. And most of them, from personal safety, security, to, of course, increase global mobility because there's visa-free travel with these passports, new business opportunities, tax management, access to world-class healthcare, education for the children, and of course, all this leads to a better lifestyle.
Of course, understood. Obviously, a lot of people have been looking at various of these issues given where they are in the corona status and everything. I assume even in the current world where visas have been closed for a lot of the clientele, it might be interesting that another alternative passport will give them ability to travel anywhere else.
Absolutely. In fact, we've seen that happening with quite a few of our clients who've had passports of and our citizens of other countries have been able to get access to Europe as and when it was opening up. And further, we offer citizenship by investment programs through financial contributions, purchase of property, or through business investments. All of these are necessarily government approved and constitutional programs, and that's very, very important. We are a company that is trusted worldwide for our successful PR and citizenship by investment clientele. So, to move forward now, depending on the funds available, time that you have, and what goals you want to achieve, we have a number of citizenship programs to help achieve all your requirements. So here's a brief summary of the countries with whom we have these programs.
St. Kitts, St. Lucia, Dominica. So most of them the Caribbean, and then a few European ones, and then obviously my favorite Vanuatu, which is all the way up in the Pacific Islands, I guess, right?
That's right, right near the Fiji Islands, near New Zealand, near Australia. And interestingly, St. Kitts and Nevis implemented the first official citizenship by investment program in 1984. And the other countries soon, of course, followed suit.
Wonderful.
Well, I'm sure that all of you participants will have a lot of questions before the end of this webinar. So please ask away. There is a chat box on the panel for this purpose. Do mention your name, the name of your company, and the city you are from. I will now request Kunal to share with you our various Caribbean citizenship programs. So over to you, Kunal.
Thank you, Shalini, for the lovely introduction to the company. So, welcome everybody. Now, let me introduce you to the Caribbean citizenship programs, which includes countries like St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Lucia, Dominica, Antigua and Barbuda, and Grenada. All these programs follow a very similar model wherein the investors get a direct citizenship and a passport of the country that they invest in. So there is no residency required. Neither does the investor get a residence permit and then goes for a citizenship. So these are direct citizenship programs. So the investment in these countries starts from a low amount, which is 100,000 US dollars. These programs come with a lot of benefits for the investors, such as the investors can get their passports within a very short span of time, which is 3 to 6 months. All these programs are family programs, which means the applicants can include their entire family in the application, and the entire family gets the citizenship just in one single investment. They can travel to more than 110 countries visa-free, including UK and the European Union. The most important benefit here, which is, that the applicants need not reside in that particular country to obtain the citizenship or to maintain the citizenship. So, Shivaz, I believe, this is one of the most important benefits, and they also need not visit the country for the application purposes. So the entire application can be processed without leaving the home country.
And I assume you can do that sitting in India, just using your LRS scheme, where you invest into the various options that are there, and be able to achieve this passport and citizenship for you and your entire family sitting just in Mumbai or Delhi or any other part of India.
Absolutely right. Also, these programs are very straightforward, and the applicants can get their passports without passing any kind of language tests.
Wonderful. Great.
Yeah.
I guess, let's delve into some of the programs then.
Sure. So I'll take you through the programs one by one. The first program which I would like to introduce is the St. Lucia Citizenship by Investment program. Now, St. Lucia is popular as a popular tourism destination, but it is also known for the citizenship program that it offers. So St. Lucia offers an excellent citizenship by investment program that allows investors to invest in St. Lucia and obtain the citizenship and passport of St. Lucia in a short span of 3 to 6 months. The investors are required to either donate $100,000 to the government, or they can invest $300,000 in a government-approved project in St. Lucia in order to obtain their citizenship. After obtaining the passports, the investors can travel to more than 120 countries visa-free, which includes the UK and the EU. Also, they can stay in the UK for up to 6 months at a stretch. There is no residency required in order to obtain or maintain this citizenship. The process is pretty straightforward and simple, wherein the investor just has to make an application first by submitting all his documents and paying some fees such as the application fees or due diligence fees. Once the applications are approved, then the investors have to donate money or invest money, post which they receive their citizenship certificates and passports.
So just to be clear, Kunal, so that means basically you put in a very little amount in the beginning. Only after your application is approved, you actually have to put in the substantial amount.
Exactly.
Great.
Yeah.
And I guess same timeline, 3 to 6 months, or how would you work? Because I've been to St. Lucia when I was in New York. It's a gorgeous island. Pretty much all of the New York ends up there in December, Jan, over New Year's, which makes it it's one of the most popular honeymoon destinations. So I've heard it like that rather than actually the investment citizenship by investment side, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit about the personal income tax also. So how would that work?
So, St. Lucia is kind of a tax haven wherein it does not tax its citizen on their global income or worldwide income. Plus, there are no inheritance or gift taxes on the citizens. So it makes it very easy for the citizens of St. Lucia to save upon their taxes.
Interesting.
The next program that we have is the St. Kitts and Nevis Citizenship Program. Now, St. Kitts and Nevis, a dual island nation in the Caribbean, offers one of the most oldest programs. As Shalini rightly mentioned, this program has been into existence since 1984, making it one of the most stable programs. It is very popular among investors looking out for a second citizenship within a short span of time. The St. Kitts and Nevis passport is also considered to be one of the most strongest passports in the Caribbean region, as it offers visa-free access to more than 130 countries, which includes some major countries like UK, Russia, and European Union countries. The investors can get the passport of St. Kitts and Nevis by contributing 150,000 US dollars towards the Sustainable Growth Fund in the country, or they can invest 220,000 US dollars into a government approved project in the country. One interesting benefit here is that there is no worldwide or personal income tax or inheritance tax here again. The process here also is pretty straightforward, and simple, wherein the investor has to make an application first by submitting all his documents and paying some fees, and then he makes the major investment after receiving the approval for his citizenship.
So fairly similar to the St. Lucia kind of process in St. Kitts also.
Yeah, so all the Caribbean programs are, quite similar in terms of the structure, the process. Everything remains the same across all the programs.
Understood. Grenada.
Grenada, yeah,
This is an interesting one, I guess.
yeah, it's an interesting program. So this has a quite similar structure of investment to the St. Kitts and Nevis, wherein the investors can either donate 150,000 US dollars or invest 220,000 US dollars in a government approved project in Grenada to obtain the citizenship. The beauty of this program is Grenada is an E2 treaty country, so it allows the citizens of Grenada to do business in the US and live in the US, which makes it a popular destination to obtain a citizenship for the people looking at living in the US or doing business in the US.
And apart from EU and UK, I guess also China is visa-free travel, right?
Yeah. So China also is visa-free travel for a Grenada citizen. So Indians have been doing a lot of business with China. So, it
US.
becomes easier. Yeah, with US too.
Interesting. Okay. You know what? This is the perfect time for all of us to, have a quick poll. I would like to, maybe have everyone please have a look at the poll and see, you guys have seen 3 different programs, very similar, but at the same time, close to each other. Given all the different benefits, it would be interesting to find out what the audience thinks and which one of the 3 programs are they finding more interesting. Polls. Ooh, wow, Grenada, clear winner.
Yeah.
Yes. I think it's not the costing, it's the E2 visa status, which is probably
Yeah.
a bit more interested. No? So Grenada it is. Okay, I guess one of the reasons why it's probably Grenada is probably because of the E2 treaty for investors in the US. And, it would be very interesting for me to maybe spend 2 minutes just discussing that because, personally I've lived there and I've had quite a lot of experience in various parts of the US. So what's interesting and important is what is the classification to be a treaty investor. So you must be a national of the country which with the US maintains a treaty of the commerce and navigation of the E2 member treaty states. After that, it's very important to have invested already. You could have already invested or actively be in the process of investing a substantial amount of capital in a bona fide enterprise in the US. Now, you need to be very clear that you've at least got 50% ownership of this enterprise. But once you have this and you have established all this, what you end up getting is the right to live along with your family in the US as an E2 visa holder. Now, what the E2 visa holder obviously is that it's a business visa. You don't have to ever exit the US. You can live there unlimitedly. The 2 years that you granted initially, the E2 visa, you're able to actually just extend it infinitely. So there is no actual amount of number of years that you need to finish your, as long as you're maintaining the business, you can continue to have this E2 treaty for yourself as well as for your entire family. Now, what's important is to understand is then you are able and eligible for your children to go to regular education. Again, this is we have franchise options also in Migrate World where you have that ability. If you're not able to think of a business yourself and require some amount of help on that, we can help with that also. Last but not least, what is interesting is unlike all the immigrant visa status, which what you hear about, which leads to green cards or are green card holders or American citizens, where your global taxation in the E2 program, you will not be global taxed. Because this is a non-immigrant visa, you never actually end up getting into the green card or the US tax bracket from a global tax issues. So it's been fairly popular for a lot of investors to actually look at this as a good hedge for them to run a business in the US, or if they're already running a business, to have one foot in the US there also. I guess what is important here would be, and I'm sure you guys must be thinking, if there are any questions, please put them on the chat and we'll answer all of them towards the end, which might be very particular to the E2 visa program or anything like that. Now, before we jump any further, I'd like to take my favorite island, the Vanuatu program. Now, this is the latest and the newest additions to the island nation programs. It's actually Vanuatu is an island which is a island country located in the South Pacific Ocean towards Australia. It offers, again, a very similar program to the Caribbean, where it's 130,000. It's investors get citizenship for the entire family, no worldwide income. Interesting part, what I like about Vanuatu is it's amongst the fastest programs. You can get it relatively straightforwardly sitting at home in India in 2 to 3 months' time. Now, obviously what that means is, again, similar to this, to the other programs, it's the efficiency of getting something fast. If somebody is really looking to get another passport for whatever, whether it be visa-free travel, whether it be accessing different countries, or setting up global businesses, or whatever it might be, this would be the fastest program for someone to actually get into that. I'll now love to pass this over to Shalini's favorite topic, the European citizenship programs. And, Shalini, maybe over to you for Bulgaria and some of the other ones.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Shivaz, yes, my favorite program, Bulgaria. You see how Bulgaria is so beautifully placed. It's very strategic in its location. You've got Greece and Turkey on the south, flanked by the Black Sea on the east and the European Union on the west. It makes for a beautiful space as far as business and, any sort of work that you may need to do with the EU is involved. The Bulgarian government has relaunched this very attractive permanent residency program with an investment of about 1 million euros into shares of listed companies or investment in real estate. Bulgaria also offers the quickest and the easiest route to the European citizenship after PR. And once you get the main thing is that you don't have to undergo any language tests, like a lot of other European countries do ask you for. So the investors are eligible to apply for a fast-track citizenship in Bulgaria within 2 years if they double their investment amount in the second year. Financing options upwards of 135,000 euros are available for those who wish to obtain this fast-track Bulgarian citizenship or the PR program. This is a very popular program, and in fact, it's picking up a lot of traction in India right now because of the access to the European Union, the treaty that they're signing right now with Schengen, which will give them visa-free travel, and visa-free access to Canada and the UK, the E2 access, investor visa access to the US, which Shivaz has shared with you. Hence, you're literally covering about 73% of the world with a Bulgarian passport. And of course, it comes with no residency requirement, which means that there's no need to reside in Bulgaria while the citizenship process is taking place. Just 2 trips are required during the application, and the whole process is completed in 25 to 26 months. Most importantly, once the Bulgarian citizenship is received, the investors can live, work, or study anywhere in the European Union. And another very important facet I would like to draw your attention to is that the citizenship is transferable by descent irrespective of the age of the children. What this means is, like, for example, a family with 4 children, all 4 married with their own children, can apply for citizenship by descent, irrespective of age. And this can continue for a couple of more generations.
So put it in so many words, Shalini, maybe if my father was a Bulgarian citizen by investment, he could pass it to me and I could pass it to my kids.
Absolutely.
So it'll go down generations.
That's right.
Even if he achieves it, he can actually then give it, and all of us will become EU citizens in through descent.
Absolutely.
Interesting.
So actually, in many cases, like, what I'm doing right now is that the grandmother is applying for it. A son gets it. The daughter gets it. Their spouses get in within time, and their children are getting it. So the whole family gets the EU citizenship.
Interesting.
Yes, that's why I love this program. The accessibility to 73% of the world, the fact that the whole family, and in India, we're very particular about our family and wanting to live with our family most of the time. So here is a program that gives you access to 73% of the world with your family.
No, I think it's one of the strongest passports, right? Also in the world.
Yes.
I remember it was, I think, the
Yeah.
16th or 17th or something, the strongest passport in the world.
Last I saw it was 16. So, yeah, quite a strong passport.
Advantage Bulgaria. I like this. So,
Yeah, one of my favorite slides. One of the lowest tax rates. I mean, if you're going to be living and working in Bulgaria, if you choose to do that, then your tax rate is only 10% flat. And of course, you get access to healthcare, lower cost of education. That means, the higher international fees are not charged to your children. They pay the local fees, and free trade within the European Union. What is very interesting is that the currency is pegged to the euro. And as you know, the euro is one of the best traded currencies, so your funds are essentially safe. And I believe next year they've signed an agreement that next year they would instead of using the Bulgarian lev, they would transfer onto the euro, which will make it again a fantastic opportunity to be part of a euro currency country.
I've heard they've also applied on the to be part of the Schengen. So once you are there, once you're a resident there, automatically, I think the decision was they voted on it. I don't know. Very recently, I read about the news that they have been voted into the Schengen. Also, I think the notification is pending or something like that. But very soon, it was on the cards that Bulgaria is part of Schengen along with the other 2 countries, Romania, I think, which were left. And so it could be interesting for Bulgarian citizens also to be part of Schengen.
Absolutely. Though most of the European Union and Schengen countries are the same, but Schengen gives access to visa-free travel, whereas European Union gives you economic and financial stability within these countries. So it can work very well with both these arrangements with these countries. What I would like to point out before I shift to my next slide is that, this is the most affordable European Union citizenship at this time. There is no other European citizenship at this particular price or in this short a time. So I think if anybody is looking at a European Union citizenship and getting access to 73% of the world with their family, it's important that we start this process straight away. Can we move on to the next slide now? That is Turkey. As you can see, Turkey, most of you are aware of Turkey. You all know how beautifully it is placed between the Middle East and Asia and Europe. And what a beautiful country it is. And we facilitate the Turkish citizenship program at a minimum investment of $250,000 into real estate in Turkey. It's a direct citizenship program with attractive financing options also available on this program. So, the investor can receive their citizenship and Turkish passports within 3 to 6 months. And again, like we spoke about transferable by descent, the Turkish citizenship also transferable by descent. And while it includes dependent children under the age of 18 years, the transferable by descent part takes care of children of any other age. There are no living requirements in Turkey in order to maintain the citizenship, and the Turkish passport holders are allowed to travel to more than 110 countries visa-free.
Interesting.
No language, sorry.
No, interesting. I just thought you've also said financing options. So I guess we can finance the investment also into the real estate for achieving the Turkish citizenship.
That's right.
And so how much would that start with also?
100,000 US dollars.
Wonderful. Interesting. And also, just I think I was reading somewhere about the Ankara agreement also, which Turkey has, right? Which is one of the more interesting, obvious agreements that people have used to actually, once they become Turkish citizens, to actually start up a business or to start working in Germany or Italy. Before the EU, before I think UK left the EU, a lot of the Turkish citizens ended up settling down in UK also, based on that. So the Ankara agreement, once you're a Turkish citizen, can be used to actually start becoming a resident of Germany or other countries also.
And along with that, they don't need to pass any language tests in order to be eligible for the Turkish citizenship. And the program gives you access to the E2 visa treaty with the US, and of course the dual citizenship is permitted. So all in all, it makes again for a very attractive citizenship program. And again, we are back to our favorite slides of Advantage Turkey. And dual citizenship is permitted. And of course, as you can see, citizenship transferable by descent, and the E2 treaty visa with the US allows you to operate and reside therein. An excellent program.
Wonderful. So maybe this is a very good time for us to go into our next poll from the audience. We've had a situation where we ended up trying to look at, our various different programs. I think, Kunal, are we ready with the next poll or something?
Yeah, I'll just publish the polls.
Which country would you prefer for the E2 visa? Grenada, Turkey, or Bulgaria? If you wanted to, Bulgaria, Turkey. We have an interesting race.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess, we're quite well balanced in these polls now. So Turkey's got a very interesting lead, and I never expected this poll that about a third of the people would like Turkey, a third would prefer Grenada, and third Bulgaria. So we have a very strong race, which actually seems quite interesting, and probably gives us a cue to go into the Q&A session. So thank you so much for the polls. I'd like to now jump straight into the Q&A side, and maybe Kunal, you can help us with some of the first questions that have come up.
Sure. So we have our first question from Mr. Angad Juneja from Delhi. The question is, can I live and do business in France on a Bulgarian passport? Wow, interesting.
Yeah, I'll take that question, Kunal. For the European Union nationals, moving to France is very easy since it's an European Union country. So, while some European Union countries require you to register and fill in an online permit after a stay of 3 months, it's no longer a requirement for France, along with quite a few other countries. They've done away with this requirement. What is interesting is that if your family, that is your spouse, children under 21, and dependent parents are non-European Union nationals, they're also entitled to relocate to France with you. But for them, you will need to apply for the residence permit within 3 months of arrival. Actually, once you're an EU citizen, then it's a very easy process. You just go online, show your passport and ID card along with proof of family relationships. It's a free process. There are no charges, and you can live and do your business or work or whatever, your requirements is in France or in any other European Union country.
Thank you, Shalini.
I hope that answers your question.
So the next question that we have is from Mr. Sajid Ahmad from Bangalore. His question is, will I have to attend any interview to obtain a St. Kitts and Nevis passport? So maybe I'll take this. So Mr. Sajid, as I mentioned earlier, there is no requirement for you to visit that particular country in order to obtain a passport or for any kind of application purposes. So an interview is also not required during a St. Kitts and Nevis citizenship application. So hope that answers the question. So we move on to the next question, which is from Mr. Aman Patel from Ahmedabad. The question is, what happens to my Indian citizenship and passport if I take up another passport? Maybe Shivas, if you could throw some light.
Sure. So very simply, officially, India doesn't allow dual citizenship. So technically, right after obtaining another passport, you are supposed to go into the closest consulate and surrender your Indian passport. Having said that, you do get a certain amount of leeway where there is no penalties at all charged for giving up your Indian passports. And after that, there are certain small amounts of fines that are charged for maintaining your dual citizenship. What's more important is once you do give up your Indian citizenship, you can actually get something called the OCI card. The OCI card pretty much gives you, OCI stands for Overseas Citizen of India. The OCI card gives you almost all the same rights that an Indian would be, which means living in India unlimitedly, doing business in India, working in India. You're allowed to own property in India. Only a few things that are not permitted once you become a global citizen and not a citizen of India would be the right to actually become a vote in India, hold a political office in India, or purchase any new agricultural land in India, which is where the restrictions would come in. Otherwise, with a global citizen and an OCI, you're pretty much in the same platform as any other person or right now would be, except you'd have probably a little bit more easier visa for travel across the world and a little bit easier banking as would be needed. Hope that answers your question.
Thank you, Shivas. So the next question that we have is from Mr. Prateek Chopra, who's from Mumbai. He says, my son is 26 years old. So if I apply for a citizenship in Bulgaria, will my son also get it along with me?
Thank you, Kunal. Very interesting question, and thank you for that question. As I spoke about earlier, the citizenship by descent, what happens is that once the parent, the father or the mother, gets a citizenship of Bulgaria, then the child can apply under citizenship by descent. It takes about 6 months to get the citizenship, and there is a minimum charge of about 15,000 euros. The process is very simple, and at any age this can be done through citizenship by descent. Of course, if the child is below 18 years, then they can do it with the parent, and the process can take place. But if it's above 18 years of age, then there is no restriction to the age limit for a citizenship by descent process. Thank you.
Kunal?
I think Kunal has frozen.
Okay,
So,
never mind. I think one of the questions that I saw come up, which was rather interesting, is how hard or easy is it to do banking within the EU with a Bulgarian passport? So actually, it's very easy. Think about this. It's the same thing you're saying, whether once you have a passport from Assam or Arunachal Pradesh or Delhi, it's exactly the same thing as you have a passport for India. It's exactly the same way we would consider an EU citizen. An EU citizen becomes integrated into the EU banking network, and their banking system would be just like a German would be, or a French citizen would be, it would be very similar to that for a Bulgarian citizen. Now, what's interesting is once you are an EU citizen and not an Indian citizen, the every little aspect of your banking would be connected to Bulgaria and your Bulgarian passport, not your passport from India or your tax IDs from India, etc. So it would change in the way things would be. You would then now be governed by the laws of the European Union rather than the Indian Republic. Hope that answers that question. Kunal is back on.
Yeah. Thank you, Shivas, for the lovely answer. We have an interesting question from Janvi, who is from Kolkata. So she says, who all can be included in the Caribbean citizenship programs? So maybe I'll take over this question. So the main applicant can take his spouse, the children. So of course, they're dependent children below the age of 18. They can also take their children above the age of 18, provided that they are studying and are unmarried and financially dependent on the main applicant. Here, the main applicant can also take his parents, provided that they are dependent on the main applicant. So the entire family, which means the 3 generations, can get a citizenship within just a single investment. So maybe we can move on to the next question. So the next question is from Sheetal Bedi from Pune. So she says, if I take the E2 visa for the USA, how long can I stay in the USA on the E2 visa?
So I'll take that. So just as I explained before, the E2 visa is not a time-bound visa. Actually, if you go to the website of the USCI, which gov.us, which will explain to you about this treaty very well, and I highly recommend that you also do that. I could share that site with you at any point afterwards. It details very well that as long as you have a substantial business in the US, which is continuing, and you own a substantial percent of that business, so which means at least 50%, you can continue to renew your visa unlimitedly. There is no timeline or time limit on that. Please remember, this is a non-immigrant visa though, which means it will never lead to a green card or anything like that. However, the E2 visa can be renewed indefinitely. Hope that answers your question.
So, Kunal, there is one question from Shailendra Phillips. Is there an age limit for Grenada citizenship?
Okay. So, while there's no age limit as such, the applicants need to be above 18 to be eligible to apply for this program, and there is no upper age limit for this program.
Thank you, Kunal.
Yeah.
There is another question by Darshana Patel, and I think she's talking about, I don't know which country she's talking about, because she says, with this visa, does the citizenship only come to the investor or also to his family, that is wife and child of 18 years? So Darshana, I'll take it for Bulgaria and Turkey. Since both of them, actually the age limit is 18 when you're applying with your parents. But once the parents get citizenship, then the child of any age can get access to the citizenship through descent for both Bulgaria as well as Turkey.
Okay, one of the other questions that has come about and which people are talking about is Canada and Canada PR. I think it's very important for people to just have a quick understanding of why we are not covering Canada in this point. Canada doesn't offer citizenship by investment. Canada has a very strict rule of someone actually living in Canada for at least 3 years continuously before they can ever become a citizen of Canada. What we are right now trying to, and more than happy to answer these Canada PR questions on a separate webinar, all on a personal basis. Please, on the left side of your screen, you will see all our email addresses as well as our contact information, and we'd be more than happy to answer the Canadian questions on a one-on-one basis and explain you what the process will be. But I hope we can understand where we are going to. Some of the questions, again, are going towards EB5 and the E2, which are also PR programs. They're not citizenship programs. We are trying to cover the citizenship by investment, particularly on this webinar. So we'd urge people to please take these questions offline and contact us on a one-on-one basis, and we'll be able to give you a much broader and well-established answer for all those particular kind of questions. I hope that answers a few of the questions that have come up on the side, which I've just been reading.
Shivas, there's another question by Mohammed Siddiq Sumra. E2 visa, is it convertible to citizenship?
Again, E2 visa is a non-immigrant visa. It will never be converted into a green card or a citizenship. You can parallelly apply while you're living in the country to other programs, and those can be immigrant citizenships, but then your E2 non-immigrant visa status will be under question. Again, I highly recommend that we take this question offline, because these are very particularly complex questions and which don't have just one straight up answer. But E2 will not be converted into citizenship.
So thanks, Shivas, for that. I agree with you totally. These desire some further conversations. Darshana, you're asking, can you also give information on Portugal citizenship? Like mentioned by Shivas, Portuguese citizenship comes after a PR or a permanent residency. So hence, since we are concentrating on citizenship programs here, why don't you get in touch with us? Our email IDs are written on the left side of the screen. Contact us and let's take that on a one-on-one. Thank you.
Great. Well, I think we have had a good introductory webinar to citizenship by investment. I also highly recommend, please contact us for any specific questions you might have, any other one-on-one consultations that you might want to do with us. Our office is in SDA, and we would love to have you all come in and maybe pay us a visit and actually, give us some time to maybe go over this on a one-on-one basis. Other than that, over to Shalini and to Kunal to maybe just, do a close down.
Yes, thank you all for being here, being a part of this webinar with us. Do get in touch with us on our contacts given on the left. Kunal is based out of Mumbai. Srinath Reddy is based out of Chennai. Neenu and Jaswinder look after the North India market for us. I'm based in Delhi. We have our email IDs here, very easy. Our first names at migrateworld.com. So it's Shalini at Migrate World, Srinath at Migrate World, Kunal at Migrate World, Neenu at Migrate World, Jaswinder at Migrate World, and of course Shivas at migrateworld.com. Thank you so much for a very interactive and loved your questions. I thought they were very insightful. And I hope you enjoyed the webinar as much as we enjoyed interacting with all of you.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you so much.